Good day, my dear friends. Today we're going to take a look at a great song by Marc Bolan and T.Rex. I touched on this a while ago, but I didn't include a snazzy little solo. So let's see if we can put it all together. All right, it goes like this. Ride it on out like a bird in the skyways. Ride it on out like you were a bird. Fly it on out like an eagle in the sunbeam. Ride it on out like you were a bird. Wear a tall hat like we did in the old days. Wear a tall hat and a tattooed gown. Ride a white swan like a people of a bell. Tail wear your hair long, babe, you can't go wrong. Should we do the solo now? Etc. Okay, now as you can see, I'm playing it on a tatty old nylon guitar. Why am I doing that? Well, if I can play it on this and it sounds all right, then on your wonderful guitars you'll have at home, your steel string acoustics or your Les Pauls or whatever it is you're playing it on, it's going to sound fantastic, isn't it? So there we are. So if you want to give it a go, download your free idiot-proof paperwork, which you will find by clicking the blue link below this video. If you don't see it straight away, click the more button. All right, you'll see the word more. Click that and it'll pop up. Sometimes it gets lost over the horizon, you know, with the blurb about what the video is. So all the key parts that I've just played here, including the solo. As I say, I did this a while ago. With I had one verse, I think, and I just did it to see if people would like it, and apparently you do. And you've said to me, what about the solo? So I've put it all together as one piece now. All right, so it's going to take a little bit of time, but it's easy. It's only 3 chords in it, and that picking you saw me doing, I was only using my thumb and one finger, so you don't have to, you know, there's nothing overly complicated. All right, as long as you keep our rhythm going, which we'll get into, then you'll be fine. All right, so here we go. Capo 4th fret. The 3 shapes we're going to be playing are E, A and B7s, which you should all know, or even you beginners should know that, all right? Underneath here, that's the idiot-proof bit, we got our beats at the bottom. It's a shuffle rhythm. You know, a shuffle rhythm. We get into that. And here, you will see, these are your string numbers that you're going to be playing, okay? If you see a string number like this one here, 4, you will play that on its own. If you see a couple of things here, you'll play them together. Maybe it'll be a hammer-on that you're playing with a 6, which we'll get into, etc, etc. Pretty straightforward. Only 3 chords in it. As I said, you're only going to use your thumb and one finger. All right. So now there are some great bands actually out there. There's one in particular I like, T.Rex. Have you ever seen them? If you haven't, go and see them. They're fronted by Daniels. They've been going a long time, and they're probably the best one of them all, I think. However, if you want to play a T.Rex song and you haven't got a band, then and you want to just do it on a guitar, and you want it to sort of encompass all the little fiddly bits that people will recognize, then this is probably a good one to do. All right, and I think I'm the only one that's done an arrangement like this for this song. There's lots of lessons there for how we played that thing, but we haven't got all the other bits to keep the thing driving and pumping along, which is what we want. All right, so my blurb has kept you going for a little bit while you're downloading your stuff. Have you done it? When you've downloaded all that, also there's the chord and a lyric sheet, which I've put out for you, so you definitely can't get lost. It's all free, by the way, for you newcomers, so you don't pay for anything. All you got to do is click the link. If you want to help support the channel, though, you can, there's a link below which takes you to my Patreon platform, which people who subscribe to that for a small little monthly fee, it keeps all this free content going. All right, or you can buy us a cup of tea, donate that way. I don't know how you do it, but people seem to manage to buy us tea, coffee, or you can buy an album. Links below. All right, have a look at the links below. But better still, thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You might as well say, if you older ones, subscribe doesn't mean you pay for anything on here on YouTube. Subscribe on the Patreon, you pay a little fee every month. Be all back behind the scenes stuff going on. It's good, that one. Right, have you got all your stuff downloaded? Are you ready to go? All right, so let's have a quick look at the chords. Now forgive me if I'm going to go a little bit beginnery, but a lot of people watching this haven't played before, and there's a little, you know, you've got to get into it slowly. There's little minimal chords, but there's quite a bit going on and we don't want to miss anything out, all right? And you're going to be using my idiot-proof stuff. Some of you will not have used it before, so you may find me stopping and starting just to be clear. All right, so the chords we're going to be playing are E, sorry. Okay, an A, which we will play like this. You could play it like that if you want. I wouldn't. I play it like that. Later on, I'll be playing it like that when I'm doing more stuff with my fingers. And we've got a B7th. They're the chords Mr. Bolan used to play this particular song. All right. Our thumb is going to be basically striking on the main downbeat. That's what that's going to be doing. Our finger is going to be pulling out the tune. But it's important. Da, 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 da. Now that's on the record, that's what Mr. Visconti, Tony Visconti, the producer, or Bolan himself, he would have played the bass. Very straightforward, just the root note. You know, Bolan would have played the guitar with a little riff in, and we would have had the drums in there, and of course he would have dubbed the solo over the top on his electric guitar. And we're going to try and encompass all those things, as I said, to try and make it sound like one complete piece. All right, so that's the idea. Right, so you ready to go? Let's begin. If you look below, we're going to be on our E chord, capo 4th fret. We're all ready to look. We look below that and it says, it's got a run of numbers. You've got a 4 and an arrow pointing and it says open. Now, rather than just do that, bring all your fingers off, all right? This is why you're watching my video. The paper will give you 80-90% of the information. It won't give you all of it, all right? I'll fill in the gap. So bring your fingers off. Hit the 4 open with your finger, all right? Finger. And then you're going to strike the 6 with your thumb. And as you do that, you're going to hammer that 4th string on with the other 2 fingers. So you get that sound, da-dum, but with the 6. And that's why you will see the 6 and 4 in a bracket, because those 2 notes are going to bang on at the same time. And you'll see there, it says hammer on, all right? So you play the 4, and then you'll do the hammer on, which will create the sound there with the 6th string, okay? One more time on that. An open 4th string, and then the 6 and 4. Now you're not playing the 4 again with your finger, it's created with the hammer on. Very important we remember that, because that's going to be a theme throughout, with not just with this finger but others. So when you see that, look for the hammer on, and that's what it means. So we've got and 1, and then we play 6 and 1 together. Now if you strike a couple of strings below the 6, that's fine. That's what I want you to do. I'm saying 6 because that's the main string. And if you hit a 1 and you come up a little bit further, that's fine because you're hitting some of the chord as well. All right? You don't have to go like this. Like that. You know. Guide this. 6. So let's do it again. 4. Then 6 and 4 together with the hammer on. 6 and 1. Then 6. And then a 2, and you'll notice the 2's hammering on. Okay, like it did on the 4. And then a 1. So I play that bar, I'll count it. I'll count the string numbers first. 4 open with a hammer on. 6 and 4. 6 and 1. 6, 2 with a hammer on. And clout the 6. Clout, I haven't used that word for ages. And then a 1. This angle. See the way as that goes on, as I touch that string, I hit the string. Oh, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, what happens after that? We bring this finger off and we do this hammer on thing again with the 2. We've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I'm playing the string 6 and 2. I'll say the string numbers now. 6, 2 with a hammer on, with the 6, which is in the brackets, then 1, 6, then 2 with the hammer on again. So that whole 2 bars sounds like this. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, so we've done page 1. Watch this video over and over again, all right? If you do that, you'll get it. And then we look at page 2. Oh, it starts off exactly the same way with an open 4th string with a hammer on again. And 1 and 2 and 6, 2. So that's almost identical to the first page. Let's do it again slowly. 4 open, hammer on, hit the 6 as your hammer on, which is why it's in a bracket. Then 6 and 1, then 6, 2 with a hammer on, which creates the other sound with the 6, and then a 1 to finish. I'll do that again. And we come down 4 times on the 6th string, or as I've just said, catch some of the chord. I'm mentioning the 6th because that's the key note, the root note. All right, but you're playing the chord, so you're quite happy. It's quite fine to come down a bit more. So we've got this. Now consider that I'm putting a little bit of dampening on this by just touching the string, just to give it a bit of chunkiness. Now I'm going to count that through slowly. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Write it on. And that's where our vocal would come in. We know that because when we get to our song sheet, when we've done all the fiddly bits, there's our intro there, which we've looked at. Okay, it's abbreviated there as just the 4 bars of E, and that's where our lyric would come in, just at the tail end of that last bar. All right. So we've done our intro riff. So that's one of the fiddly bits done. Okay. Now remember, again, it's important, a really important thing. This, your thumb. It's just. If I wasn't doing the melody, ride it on out like a bird in a skyway, ride it on out like you were a bird. Watch my thumb as I play the next bit now. Keep looking at the thumb. Oops. Like a bird in the skyway, ride it on out like you were. It's relentless. Da, 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 da. And that's your bass guitar. Bam, 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 bam. It's also your rhythm guitar. That's what fills the sound out. All right. So it's worth remembering that. Very, very, very important. Okay. So we're looking at the verses now. All the verses are the same. There's 4 of them. So if you learn one, you've learnt them all. And if you can't do the solo, which I did before, all it is, you just play the chords for the verses again, if you wanted to, or you just miss it out. All right. Or you get your mate to play the solo over the top. All right. Well, we'll look at the solo in a minute. Let's look at the verse. So we've got, it's almost identical in its approach. We've got our hammer on with on the 4th string. 6 and 4, 6 and 1, and then 6, 1, 6. Ride it on out like a bird in. Ride it on out like a bird in. Open 2nd string, and we're going to hammer on to the A. The sky says, we know that because there's a little arrow saying hammer on. And I hammer the whole thing on, even though it's referring to the 2nd string. Just do it, all right? Ride it on out like a bird in a skyway, ride it on. I'll give you the string numbers again. 4, hammer on with a 6 and 4, 6 and 1, 6, 1, 6, open 2nd, hammer onto your A, 5 and 2 in a bracket, 5 and 1, 5, 1, 5. Ride it on out like a bird in a skyway, ride it on. So far so good. Ride it on, back to your E. 2, 6, 6 and 1, 6, 1, 6. Ride it on out like a you were. It's just catching the 2 when it goes on to the next, onto page 4. I'll play it slowly. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 2, 6, 6 and 1, 6, 1, 6. And then you've got to jump. You'll notice that the and after the 4 is on the B7th chord. So I'll play it and then I'll explain. Bird on the sky, ride it on out like you were a bird, bird. When you say the word b of bird, you need to be on that B7 quickly. How do we get, for you beginners, from the E to the B7 quickly? There's our E. We need to get from here to the B7. Right. So our root note is going to be there. The good news is we've already got a finger on that. All right. So we don't have to take that off. We can bring this finger up and this one down. Okay, there's our E, one up, one down. And then our little finger will go down here on the first string. Okay, bring your elbow out in order to get your fingers in, otherwise you stay like that, you'll struggle. Elbow out, okay, and it'll get that little finger in as well. All right, let's try it. So we're on the B7th, and I'll play the whole thing. 2, 5, 5 and 1, 5, 2, 5. See the weather? All right, from the beginning of that bar. All right, I'll do it again. I'll sing it all again in a minute for you. These are just the bits. Learn the bits, and then when you put it together, you'll know what you're doing. We're on page 5. Right, it on. Coming to the end of the verse now. Again, looks very similar, doesn't it? Because it is the same. Again, open 4th string. Open 4th, hammering on with the 6. 6 and 1, 6, 1, 6. And then the hammer onto the A as we did before. Say the string numbers and then the beats. Hammer on 6 and 4, 6 and 1, 6, 1, 6. Hammer on to the second. There's your 5 and 2, 5 and 1, 5, 1, 5. Ride it on out like an eagle in a sunbeam. Ride it on. Getting to the end of verse 1 or any of the verses, because they're all the same. Ride it on. You're on E. 1, 6, and then 6 and 1 together, and then on beat 3, 5 and 1 to the B7th, the same way, spin round to that B7th, 5 and 1. Ride it on out like a you were a, I'll do that again. Ride it on out like a you were a. What happens after that? We go into the riff again. You were a bird. We did the thing. Wear a tall hat like a druid in the old days. Wear a tall hat and a tattered gown. Ride a white swan like a people. See the way I'm. See, well, what's it slowly? Even though it says 1 and 6, I'm catching the chord. But if I were to write all those string numbers down, it'd look like a big jumbly mess, and that would just confuse you. All right, that's why you're watching this. Ride it on out, just like a bird in the sky. We ride it on out like a you were a. Look at that thumb, relentless hairdo. As you can tell, this is all live. I don't do any editing. 2 reasons. 1, I don't know how to. And second reason is, we all make little mistakes, like I just made one then when I was trying to talk to you and play at the same time. It's all part of the fun. Okay, it's all part of the fun. As long as you don't let the audience know, then you're safe. Right, anyway, you work on that. Should we have a look at this solo? All right, the principle is exactly the same, but clearly we're going to be putting some melody notes within the chords. All the same chords, but played slightly different, slightly differently, in order that we can get the melody notes out. Right, I'll have a quick swig before I start this. Thank you for those that donate to the Tea and Coffee Fund and the donut box in my 1970s mug. Right, okay, so I'll play it first. I've got to try and remember it. Now, the first thing you've got to do when you're learning anything like this, you've got to ask yourself, do I know how that tune goes in my head? All right, and if the answer is no, then go and listen to the record. All right, and what do I mean by that? Well, when I'm going to play it in my head, because I have this saying, if you can't say it, you can't play it. And it's true. It's true. You can't say it, you can't play it. So in my head, I'm going, dum, ba-da-ba-dum, ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum, ba-dum. ba 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 da ba ba da ba do 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 dum bing do 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 boom bing do do do. That's what goes on in a musician's head, okay? Especially all of us that play by ear, because we can't read a note in music. Hence all the idiot-proof stuff, all right? And even if you did read it with real music, it would be wrong, because Marc Bolan couldn't read a note either. And most people that transpose this stuff, they fix what they consider to be mistakes, and in doing so, they cock it all up, all right? You've got to be a guitar player to write guitar music, all right? Anyway, let's look at the solo. Let's begin. We're going to do a little slide at the beginning, as you heard me doing, but for now, we're going to leave that out. We're just going to concentrate on the main structural points. So we're on page 7. So look at page 7 and let's set up correctly. Our first finger now is going to play an abbreviated E. What do I mean by that? We would usually play it like this, as we've done for the other parts of the song. But now, because I need to use fingers to do stuff with, I need to change these fingers out, get them out of the way, and I'm going to replace these two with this one. There, all right? And if you look at the top, you'll see, well, we're not going to be playing these two. They're out of bounds, all right? Out of bounds. Okay, so let's begin. So you'll notice that fingers are across there. We're going to start off with our melody note, which is the 3rd string, and you'll notice your 3rd finger is on the 3rd string at the 4th fret from the capo. So we've got, look below, you've got 6 and 3, and then 6 and 4 3 times. And I want you to drive that a bit. So bing, dum, dum, dum. All I'm doing is 6 and 3. Now you could go if you want, but I quite like that. I like that. Your fingers doing nothing, give it something to do. It's playing the octaves. Okay? Now if you want to put the slide in, ding, dum, dum, dum. A 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll say it slowly. A 1, 2, 3, 4. Our next shape. We drop in our 1st finger down to release the 5th string, because the 5th string now, you'll notice we're on the chord A. Okay, and we're playing our abbreviated A like this. Okay, and you'll see that we've got a couple of fingers with like pull-offs, and it looks a bit messy. It's not, just dead easy. Look below. You know, as I said, the diagrams will give you the more or less what we're going to do, which what's happening below will tell you, and with me explaining in detail what that is. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is just keep your 3rd finger on the 3rd string. All right, don't worry about the other one for now. Forget about him for a minute. We're going to play a 3. Now it says on the 3 a pull off, and then after it, it's got 3 and 5 in the bracket. Now that's referring to the sound that's created with the pull off. 3, 3 and 5, 3, 3 and 5, like before. Okay, so, and then we're going to put our little finger on the 4th string at the 5th fret, and we're going to do the same. We're going to pull that off and then hit the 5 again, but it's got 4 and 5 in the bracket, because that note there, you've got the 2 notes playing together, which is why they're in the bracket. Okay, 3, 5 and 3, 4, 5 and 4. Put the bits together. A 1, 2, 3, 4, ba-dum, ba-dum, 3, 4, and we conclude the bar just by going. Okay, I'll say it again. I'll do it without the slide. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. All right? Break it down slowly. Don't try and rush through it. Take your time. Okay, we're on E again. Same sort of thing. We start off, but back to the E shape. We know that because it says so at the top of the page. All right. Ready? 6 and 3. Oops, that was I said. 6 and 3, Rob. Come on. And then 6 and 3 again with a pull off. The 3, of course, is there as per the diagram. One more time. And then a 6 and 4 with a pull off. Okay, and then we put our finger back on that 4 and play the 6 and 4 again. I'll do that again. Da 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 da. Okay, I'll do it from this angle. 6 and 3, sorry. There's our pull off to give the other little notes. And then when it's slow, you don't get the full impact of the pull off. Yeah, so with a bit of power and speed, it sounds better. Da 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 da. Okay, then we're going to play what looks like a B minor. It's not, but when you see the fingers that are jumping around there, it looks like that as per the diagram. But when we piece it together, you'll see how it's going to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the open. We're on the second bar of page 8. We're going to bring these fingers off, and we're on the and we're going to keep them off, and we're going to just hammer these 2 on, emphasizing the 3rd string as per the diagram. And the 5 and 3 is where you catch the 3 and the 5, with the hammer. See with the way we get the 2 sounds together? There's the 5 and 3, the 3 and the 5. Okay, then we will add our 2nd finger, which will create the melody note. Okay? Sounds weird out of context, but it's correct as per the way he played it, or the melody that he played. And then when we've done that, we will lift our, let me just see this. Now, when you play that B there on your diagram, you'll see, with this one here, let me just make a quick, where's my thing, quick note. I've just noticed something, which is quite important. Okay, so when you play this one here, there's those 3 little fingers. You'll notice that I've lifted the bar and just left that finger on. I've forgotten to do that. I would have sounded really funny. All right, let's do that again. So let's go from the 2nd bar of page 8. We've got hammer, our 2nd finger drops on, and then we're going to play 5 and 2, but we're going to lift our bar and just play the B string, and we'll play the 2 is played open. Okay, so there's our 5 and 2. And don't worry if you catch a bit of the 3, that's perfectly acceptable. So let me play that bit again. See? And again one more time from this angle. From this angle. Get that. Back to the E. 6 and 3. 6 and 3 again with a pull off. 6 and 4 with the little finger on as per the diagram. Take off the little finger and play the 4 on its own, and then play a 6 and then put your little finger back on and play it again. So it sounds like this. And again, this is where the bit of syncopation comes in. I'll try and say it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and ba ba da ba ba ba. It's not hard to play, just the syncopation. Da 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 da. Okay, once you've got it in your head, the melody, it'll flow. Da 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 da. Then we're gonna play 5 and 3. Where are we? We're on to our A now, so we'll drop this finger back down here. 5 and 3. Now, where you see the 2 fingers here with little circles around, that means something's going to happen with those fingers as per the other bits. So what we'll start off with, we'll keep these off for a minute, and we'll play 5 and 3. And then we'll put this finger on, and we'll play it, or put them both on, and then play a 3, then a 5, and then a 2. Now, it's telling to add those separately like this. Which you could do, or you could just go. Doesn't make any difference, just hit them at the right time. All right, I'll play that again. 5 and 3, 3, 5, 2, and then 5 and 1, 2, 5, and then the last 2 is open, and it means open at capo position. All right, at capo position. It's very important that we remember it's at capo position. All right, let's play that again. Okay, that open second string is a good vehicle to get back to your E chord. Now it's going to look like an E sus. You don't need the first finger. We're going to play a 6 and 3. I'll play the part first. Okay, 6 and 3. Okay, take off your little finger and then play the 3 again. So then a 6, then a 4. 6 and 3, 3, 6, 4. And then keep that second finger where it is. Lift off your third finger. This is a partial B. 5 and 4, then a 5 and then a 4. And then we start the riff again, which I'll show you in a sec. So, where are we? And then back onto an E with a 4. Let me count that out as we're doing it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then back to sorry, a 4th string for the and before the 1. Do it again. It's hard when you slow it to the point where you lose the rhythm. 1. 6 and 3, Rob, come on. 6 and 3. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and, okay, to your 5 and 4, 3 and 4 and. Okay, I'll play it now in a bit of rhythm and hopefully it'll sound right. So. I have trouble playing looking at paper, if I've got to get it in my head. This is great to sort of, okay, I've got it now. As soon as you can get rid of the paperwork, you do it, because you don't want to, if you take the information in through eyesight and you keep using it through eyesight, then you won't be able to play it without the paper. All right, that's why classical musicians, they can't play without the music in front of them. All right, but we tend to play by ear. We sort of get to know what it is and say, right, and we get rid of the paper. All right, so the solo again. I'll do it slowly without looking at the paper. Last verse. Wear a tall hat like a druid in the old days. Wear a tall hat and a tattooed gown. Ride a white swan like a people of a belting away your hair long. Baby, can't go wrong. Da dee 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 da, 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 da dee 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 da. Ride a white swan. Now, when you've learnt all the bits on the idiot-proof stuff, when you've done all that, you can say, okay, how do we learn all the words? Right, well, let's have a look at this. A couple of pages, and this is the full layout of the song as per the T.Rex arrangement, okay? Now, what I've done is, so you can't cock it up, the way the lyrics fall, I've made sure that each of these chords represents one bar. So you'll notice that the lyric starts here. A lot of people don't realise that. A lot of beginners, they seem to think that when a lyric starts, it's always on beat 1. Not necessarily. So you've got da-dum, ding, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, ba-da, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ride it on. 1, 2, ride it on. So the first lyric starts on beats 3 and 4, 3 and 4, and then the word out, ride it on out like a bird in the skyway, ride it on out like you were a bird, as we did on the other bit of paperwork. Now, when you see the E and the B7s there. It's very important. See this E and B7? They're between two lines. What does that mean? 1, 2, 3, 4. Out like you were a riff, ding, ding, getting, get it, getting, and so on. And then you will do verse 2 the same. You'll do verse 3 exactly the same, no difference at all. And then your solo is here as per the paperwork that we've just used before. And we've got our riff again. Now, if you can't play the solo, just forget it. Just go straight to verse, to verse 4. They won't know. It's good if you can do it, but don't ruin a performance and not do it at all because you can't do that. 2 choices. 1, get somebody who can play the solo for you, or 2, miss it out and just go straight to the last verse, all right? And when you get to the end, it just does this little ad-lib voice, the da-da-dee-dee-da, da-da-dee-dee-da, and just, what does it say here? It says, repeat the riff and end on the E. Bum, ding, 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 bum. And then you will accept the rapturous applause that you will get, because no one will have heard that song like that on one guitar. They just won't. Accept the applause with grace, and as I always say, just a hint of smuggery. All right, so there we are. Now, once again, before we leave it there, thank you very much for the Tea and Coffee Fund, for those people that join my Patreon platform or those who buy merchandise, to keep all this free content going. And it is free. And once you've downloaded it, you do with it whatever you like. I don't care. All I want you to do is learn to play the guitar. So what's now was mine is now yours. Okay, my paperwork, you can do with it as you like. I don't care. Copy it, give it to your mates, enjoy it, have fun with it, but learn to play the guitar. All right. And on that positive note, I shall love you and leave you, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.